Probably why I'm late for work all the time.
Seems like a dumb move.
Yeah, well, I live in the moment when I'm in the morning.
Welcome to the Big Dane podcast. I'm your host, Dana Trimborn, and in this podcast, find the connection in the weird experiences that we all share. Listen to new episodes on Tuesdays wherever you get your podcasts. Hey friends, in this week's episode, I'm chatting with Matt Warnock, aka Sauniks, electronic music producer, and my boyfriend. And we'll get into his weird things that he does in his daily routine. Find out why he always seems to be running late for work. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, what's up?
It's been a while that you've been on here.
I know, it's been like years.
Just been rolling solo for a while.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. So before we dive into the episode with your routine, for those that don't know you and haven't listened to the episode of you with your interview, let's just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
Okay. Well, I'm Matt. I'm a music producer. I make electronic music. I go under the alias Sauniks, Sauniks. I'm on Spotify, Instagram, all that good stuff. I've been doing it for 11 years now. Quite a long time. Yeah. And here in Conshohocken with Dana. And originally from Berwyn, Pennsylvania. Conestoga High School.
Whoa, rival. Since I went to North Penn. Wonderful. And to get to know you a little bit better, I mean, I already know you. For the listeners, let's get into some fun, interesting questions. What's the worst purchase that you have made in your lifetime?
Ooh. Does getting scammed count?
Sure does.
Yeah, I did.
Why not?
The worst purchase I ever made was something that never materialized. So I'll give you a quick backstory. I won't go into this too deep. So I was looking for music education like several years ago, and I found this guy online who was gonna run like this masterclass education on like how to become like an artist in the music industry, a successful artist, and the fee to join was $1,000. So I paid the fee. Mm-hmm. He brings you into this Facebook group, and he was promising like he was gonna release an educational course that was gonna be a quote unquote game changer. And he was also going to have a platform where you could build your own website on, your own artist website. 6 months go by, not the course nor the website thing materialize. 1 year goes by, still nothing materializes. To this day, I think it's been 4 years since that happened, and still nothing has materialized. Actually, the kicker is he reached out to me again and was trying to sell another course, and I was like, no. You never gave me the first course, so I'm not paying you for the second course.
What did he say? Crickets.
Just crickets.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I have been wide-eyed this entire time. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's awful. Well, I mean, I guess you get a lawyer or something like that for
$1,000.
$1,000 is not that much.
It's been a while.
Or like,
and
is it worth it? Or...
Two of my friends also got scammed, so it's kind of like some camaraderie we have over this hatred for this guy.
Wow. Okay. So enough about this shady business here. Let's get into your routine. So think about when you first wake up, what goes on here while I'm sleeping, and then, during the day, through the evening, to at night. Let's hear about it.
Well, I wake up like 6:30 usually. It's pretty early for Dana. Dana wakes up at like 10.
Do not wake up 10. I had to be online by like 9.
Okay, it's a little bit of an over
I've been
exaggeration.
stretching it, but okay, let's continue with your story.
Yeah, so usually I'm woken up by Lydia around 5 a.m. to start because she gets hungry and she starts romping around the room everywhere and like walking over my chest and my face and all that good stuff. But when I finally do get up, she is very happy, starts licking me. I get out of bed, brush my teeth, floss, mouthwash. The morning pee. And then I go downstairs and I feed the cats. Meanwhile, like, before I feed them, they're like scurrying around my legs, just like meowing at me constantly.
Yeah, and I know we're talking about Lydia, but yeah, we have another cat, my cat, Moo. So I feel like Moo would be meowing early, but I mean, I don't hear anything. But also that we have window units in our room. But so what does Moo do? Like, she just waits around?
So when I first opened the door, Moo was already out there, like, meowing. And it's funny because this happens every morning and it's so entertaining. I open the door and immediately, like, Lydia's also ready at the door to pounce out. And I open the door and they both like are ready to like jump into the room at each other. So they almost collide, but then they realize and they like stand there awkwardly for like a half a second. And then Lydia darts out the door and then Moo comes like moseying down.
In.
Yeah. And it's funny because there was one time they did collide when I opened the door, and it was really funny.
Aw. Okay, so then you go downstairs and you feed them. So what time is it about now when you're feeding the cats? Like before, like 7? Before 7?
After I brush my teeth first, so like 6:45-ish.
Okay.
I don't really look at the time when I'm getting ready.
Probably
why I'm late for work all the time.
Seems like a dumb move.
Yeah, well, I live in the moment when I'm in the morning. Speaking of in the moment, sometimes I meditate, but I haven't done that as of recently. And then get the kitties their food. We have this puzzle bowl. We put Moo's food in to help her eat slower. And then at some point the cats like to trade bowls. So like I'll be sitting, if I'm like downstairs and I witness this happening, I usually witness it. They'll just like start walking past each other and kind of like look at each other, and I swear they're like doing a kitty nod as they're passing each other. Like they both know exactly what's going on.
Like, all right, I'm done. You can go have a taste.
It's probably the only part of the day that they're both like in agreement on something.
Well, this is the other thing too, because you feed them, one gets the wet, one gets dry, so that's why they trade.
I think they would trade
regardless.
Anyway,
You're probably right. But I didn't know they did this until Matt was away seeing friends in California and for music related stuff too. So I had the cats and then I was feeding them in the morning since I don't normally do that. And I like had to do a double take because I thought, what is going on here? They're in cahoots.
Yes, they are.
So it was just like really funny to watch them do that. But yeah, that's hilarious. So, and then you were talking about that you'll meditate. So does that happen like after you feed them?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'd probably interrupt.
They would keep bothering me if I didn't. So they would either make noises or Moo gets like super lovey-dovey. Mm-hmm. And she'll do this thing where like she'll hug you with her tail. Like she'll rub against your leg, and then she'll fold her tail to the side, like around your leg, as if she's giving you some kind of hug. It's pretty cute.
Ah. Yeah, I haven't. He'll notice this, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. So with the meditation, then how did that become a part of your routine? Like, did you read about it? Were you not feeling mentally prepared in the morning, and you felt that this might be a good way? How did that get started?
In my early 20s, I picked it up pretty early, around 24, 25. I used to do it every day. I used an app called Headspace, and it really helped a lot. Just kind of like start the day off on a good foot. A lot of people tend to use it as like a key to getting their day to start right, but I kind of feel like it's more of a tool and not really like an end all be all. So that's why I don't meditate every day now, because I think after meditating every day for so long in my early 20s, I just kind of like figured out how to be mindful in my everyday life. But recently I started doing it again because my mom got a subscription through her work. So I'm like, oh, I'll take a free Headspace subscription.
Yeah, it is a great app because I get it free from work as well.
Yeah, it's changed so much since 2015.
Oh, I bet. I mean,
it's so much better now.
I think even recently I had opened it up and they were talking about some updates that they made, so which I'm glad. But so that's interesting. I didn't realize you had started it in your lifetime. Well, I'm going to say that early, but that early, because I thought this was something that you did like not as long.
No, I was trying to. In my mid 20s, I was grinding pretty hard on music and fitness and things like that. I was juggling so many things. This is just kind of like my type A personality. I was juggling so many things that I needed a way to kind of relax without like reaching for drugs or alcohol, and it worked out really well. I only did it in the morning. I never did it at night. But yeah, it was helpful. There was a point where it kind of like stopped giving me benefit. So then I just tried to. I remember seeing a quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger because I read his biography, and he used to do meditation, but he stopped because meditation allowed him to learn how to be present whenever he needs to be. So I'm like, okay, so maybe that's the next step, is to learn how to be present whenever you need to be. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just doing like mini meditations throughout the day and just checking in, being like, oh, you're not being present right now, come back. Right. And that's why I really like Headspaces. Like I've tried Calm and the other ones, but I really like the method that Andy from Headspace teaches about like noticing that thought or feeling that's happening right now, and then acknowledging it, and then coming back to the moment.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. So now, you know, you're still at home, you did your meditation, you fed the cats, so you still have to get out the door. So you're saying you don't bother to look at the time.
No, I guess my meditation has turned into being late for work.
Oh, my internal clock tells me I should leave now.
Yeah, like I do look at I kind of do and don't look at the clock. Like I'll usually see the clock in our living room when it's too late. And I'm like, oh, I should have left 5 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago. Or the other day I woke up at 7:50 and I was like, oh, I should have left 45 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
That was an interesting day.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So now you're on your way to work. You get to work. You know, anything particular there when you first get there? Do you get coffee? What goes on?
I get Starbucks before I go in. So I don't get coffee. And then, oh, hello, Moo. And...
Okay, let's take a quick break. For a limited time only, you'll have free access to my coffee page. No, not actual coffee. This is a place for all exclusive content that won't be on my Instagram or Facebook accounts. Check out sneak peeks, behind the scenes, extra audio clips, and much more. Just have a tap on my link tree, look out for that coffee cup icon, and boom, you'll be on your way. You get Starbucks every day?
Not every day, no. Like once, like 2 to 3 times a week. But I get the same thing. What do you think I get every time?
Cold brew?
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah. Every time.
But you have coffee here that's cold brew.
Yeah, I have that as well.
Oh, God. So you're already hyped up on caffeine, like, before 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm. And then I get to work, extra hyped up. Usually have meetings, not really, sometimes.
So let me just back up one step here. So how did you get started just, like, going to Starbucks to get, like, your second cup?
That's a more recently developed habit, I'll have to say.
Because it's hot out? That you...
Sometimes when I skip it, I'll make myself... I think it started from, like, would make a cold brew from the cold brew stuff I have here. Mm-hmm. And then I would finish it as I'm drinking it while I'm getting ready. And then I'll make a second cup and put it in a tumbler before I leave.
Yeah.
And drink it over time. But something I've been doing recently, like probably less than 2 weeks, is I've been putting it in that white tumbler because it keeps things cold really long. Mm-hmm. And I'll sip it over the course of from like 8 a.m. to noon.
Yeah.
So a long period of time. And I've been doing that sometimes with Starbucks. Like I'll get the cold brew and I'll put it in that tumbler so I can drink it over a long period of time. And that thing is so effective that by the time it's like 3 o'clock, there's still ice in that thing.
I bet, yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. Coffee on coffee on coffee. Okay, and then, throughout work, is there anything that you do in particular?
After work?
Sure, it can be after work.
Well, during work, I other than all the stuff we do at work, which I can't really talk about publicly, I do when I take
CIA.
What?
I was like, you work for the CIA.
No, I work for a company who cares very much about security to the point where I can't pick my home page in my browser anymore.
Yeah.
But during lunches, I'll usually eat by myself just because it's like I'm naturally an introvert, so I recharge that way. And I'll typically watch something Star Wars related during my lunch before I go for a walk.
And how did you get started doing that?
I like Star Wars.
Wow.
How did I start watching Star Wars?
Yeah, at work. Like, what made you think, like, you know what? Today's the day. Today's the day. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to put Star Wars on. It's going to be great.
Well, it's a product of the pandemic, actually.
Okay.
For a while, we weren't allowed to have lunch in the cafeteria, so we all had lunch at our desks, and I kind of just kept doing that after the cafeteria opened up again. Mm-hmm. So, and I would just watch like TV shows because I'm so busy outside of work. Even still, I would never get time to watch any of the shows, so I'd be so disconnected from friends and family talking about TV shows. So that's when I catch up on shows, is by watching them during my lunch break.
This is true. At home, like I think the only time I see you watch a show, it's on the weekend. Rarely during the week, unless we're watching something together on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, you gotta hustle.
Yeah. And so how about, that's interesting that you do that at work. But you've also, you've been doing something else during lunch, though. Since it's been nice out, you've been getting outside.
Yeah. After I like watch an episode or portions of an episode, usually like 20 to 30 minutes, I'll go outside and walk either in this neighborhood nearby the office, or I'll go to this nature preserve, which is essentially like hiking, because there was one time I came back from it and I saw 3 different species of ticks crawling up my pant leg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ew.
They were all different species. I'm like, oh, would you look at that? And I just flicked them off like that. She can't. Sorry, listeners, you can't see me do this flicking motion.
Oh, okay. What prompted you to go for walks during the day at lunch versus staying in? Like, how did you start doing that?
You guys should have seen the face Dana just made. It was priceless. It stems from the meditation thing I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
Just learning to be present more throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
So taking walks in nature or just in quiet places is really helpful. I notice a lot of people like to walk with headphones in and listen to music or whatever. But I've found that can be counterproductive.
Or you can get taken.
But I'm a very large man, so that's not likely to happen to me.
You're not that tall.
I'm wide. Anyway. Yeah. Just
okay,
like,
so more for mental health.
Yeah, just kind of being... One of the parts of meditating is just kind of like being in the moment with your thoughts by yourself.
Cool. All right. So now the day is starting to wrap up. Anything that you do in the evening when you get home?
I go to the gym right after work. Usually for like an hour and a half. It's typically the same routine. I use an app to dictate my workouts, and modify them as needed. And when I come home, I cook or eat dinner with Dana. We talk about our days. At least once a day we say, how was your day today? But there'll be times when like one of us will go on about our day, and then there'll be a pause, and the other one will like do a hand gesture, be like, are you gonna ask me about my day? But like the hand gesture equivalent of that. So and they're like, oh shit, like I guess I gotta
stop talking about myself.
Yeah, and here I am talking about myself.
No. This is allowed.
And then after dinner, after cleaning up and everything, I'll head up to the studio and start making music. Probably at least once a week I'll hear from... Thanks, Moo.
Oh my god, I'm dying. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but Moo was going to town on the cat tree and scratching it, so it was very loud. And
she's playing with her tail right now.
So you have a studio, is that right?
Yeah. So I hear this at least one week. I'll say like, oh, I'm going to the studio. And then Dana will be like, that's not a studio. And meanwhile, I'm secretly holding a grudge. And when Dana finally has her own podcast, quote unquote, studio, I'm going to be like, well, that's not a studio. That's a podcast room.
I'm okay with that. I'm not going to call it a studio.
But it's going to be a podcast studio.
Okay.
Music is made in it. It's sound treated. It's like all the bells and whistles. If you looked at it, there's a video on my TikTok where I do like a panorama of it. It looks like a studio. So
it does look nice.
Yeah, message Dana and tell her it looks like a studio for me, please.
I feel like I haven't said it in a while though, so I think
Yeah, because
I'm okay with it now after 3 years. Well, I'll say this: in the past, 6 months, you made updates to that with the new treatment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it does look more profesh.
Yeah, I hired a acoustics company from Nashville, and they sent me up some handmade acoustic foam with like proper materials inside of it, and they even they even select the fabric based on what's the most acoustically neutral fabric to wrap the panels in.
Mm-hmm. So you're up there, you're making some music. How long are you up there for? How many hours? Like, when do you say, all right, I'm going to wrap it up tonight? Enough is enough.
Usually an hour and a half to 2 hours a night during the week. And then like 4 to 8 hours a day on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So I'm up there a lot. So now you can see why I don't have a lot of time to watch Stranger Things. And for the record, I can't remember what season I left off of. I probably started season 2 and never finished it. So that's where I'm at right now.
Well, great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you wrap everything up, getting ready for bed. Anything that you do in particular? Do you meditate?
No, I did when I was younger. I did try meditating before bed. It works for some people, but it didn't really do anything for me. So that's why I stick to the mornings. But usually I'll watch some funny videos online, mainly TikTok, just for a little bit, and then I'll just like get too tired to keep my eyes open. I'll just go to sleep.
Okay, so nothing real fancy.
No, I'm a simple man.
Sometimes I'll say, if we start singing to the cats, and when I say we, I mean me, then we make a cat rap.
We did do that once.
A kitty cat rap.
Yeah, so one night randomly, Dana comes into the studio. Sorry, I'm pausing to wait for her to be like, "Here's on a studio." I don't remember how it started, but...
Well, I came out of the shower and I was singing to Lydia. And then I was like, oh, you have to hear my rap that I just came up with. And
in the
then
shower.
When I came out of the shower.
Mm-hmm.
So then I walked into the studio. And then he stopped. I think you were playing video games or something. And then you're like, okay, yeah. And then we must have like sat there for like at least like a half hour to try to like finish the song.
Mm.
So we'll report back because it's almost done.
We wrote like a verse and a half of lyrics, and then a couple days later I started making a beat to it. So
yeah. So sometimes, I would say in Matt's routine, there's some parts where I'll just be silly and we'll just laugh so hard that we're crying.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, you're just general silliness like most days.
So not sometimes, always.
Yeah, there's lots of times when we're sitting there like, why aren't the mics rolling right now?
This is true. So many times. I'm like, oh, we could have caught this. We could have caught that.
Like that one time we tried to record our candid drunk moments and we ended up burning a pizza.
We do have this on audio that I published somewhere. I think on my coffee page. The exclusive content, my friends. But it was funny to listen to because we're like, oh, what is that?
You can hear the exact moment when we realize we messed up.
Yeah, but I'll have to maybe bring that to the top or something, or show you guys where it's at. But anywho, it was lovely to have you on because it's been a while. I'm trying to think of I think the last episode we did was the holiday experiences. So bring it to the front with the new season. I hope everyone found connection here in Matt's routine with getting up. Maybe you have a cat too, and they're jumping on your head, and now you're late for work. So really enjoyed it. If the listeners want to get in touch with you, where can they reach out?
If you like traditional means like email, you can hit me up on my website, sauniks.com, Sauniks. Or you can just DM me at Sauniks Official, Sauniks Official on Instagram.
Okay. And you mentioned there was an email, but what's the email address?
It's matt@sauniks.com.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, there you have it. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me. See y'all.
No prob. See ya. All right, my friends, thanks for listening, and be sure to listen to new episodes on your preferred platform. Stay up to date with my podcast by going to my Instagram or Facebook accounts at the Big Dane Podcast. Interested in being a guest? Just go to my Linktree, tap on Be a Guest, and fill out the form. All right, catch you next week.